It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage.
Headline, Los
This is RamView, the December 16th, 2025 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident? Do you have questions? Do you need help? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Click on that QR code and go check out Kistler Law. They've been fighting for you since '92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. And of course, new friend of the show, Sports Ball Games. Make game day funner for you and your crew. Play sports ball, play for a hill of beans or just jelly beans. And of course, game day in the Ram Cave. If you're a Ram fan and you want to have a playoff experience, check out Game Day in the Ram Cave on Amazon. You can get it in softcover. You can get it in ebook format. Put that book out a year ago. Check out Rams playing the Green Bay Packers for the right to go to the Super Bowl. It's a lot of fun. Got some good reviews. All right. I know it's strange for me to be on a Tuesday, and that's okay. It's a short week. Schedule yesterday was a little bit crazy, which is one of the reasons why I'm on tonight, as well as we've got a Thursday night game and want to just get in more talk about the Rams. Schedule's going to be a little off tomorrow. I am going to broadcast. I'm just not sure what time I'm going to broadcast. So let's get this thing rolling here. I don't know how long we're going to go, but let's have some fun. First, Davante Adams not officially ruled out yet. I don't see him playing in this game. And the part about that is, too, if he doesn't play tomorrow or Thursday in Seattle, the next time he could see the field, if everything plays out for the Rams, which means win Thursday night, win out the regular season and get the home field advantage, it means, or more importantly, the bye, it would mean 35 days before Adams sees the field again. And if you got a tender hamstring, that's really optimal. That would be great. If they feel like maybe they're not going to rule him out, but he can give them a little presence down there on the goal line, use him as a decoy. You know, there's that great Don Maynard story from Super Bowl III where Don Maynard, Hall of Fame receiver, didn't catch a pass because he was banged up. I believe it was his hamstring as well. And he ended up just being a decoy all day. And think about that. Don Maynard, one of the premier receivers of the 60s, along with Lance Allworth, didn't catch a pass in Super Bowl III, but he was out there the whole game. And I think they said it was because of his hamstring. They really just needed him as a decoy. Davante Adams doesn't have to have a big burst if you want to just use him in short yardage situations. And I think maybe that could be playing in to the hesitancy of just saying outright that he is out of the game. So keep an eye on that situation. All right, let's see here. Oh, gosh, I'm still talking with that thing on. I'm really pushing my book. Sorry about that, guys. Tuesday, right? I'm not used to broadcasting on a Tuesday. Mikey Gutierrez, I can't remember another regular season game we've had that felt as big as this one. Yeah, you know, there is usually like you got to win because you got to get into the playoffs, right? You got to get it. You got to win so maybe you can win the division. But there's so much on the line here. You know, I honestly believe if the Seahawks were still in the AFC, which is where they were when they broke into the NFL, that if the Seahawks were in the AFC, people would be talking about the Rams and Seahawks right now being the two Super Bowl teams. This is almost like a Super Bowl preview, and there's so much on the line. I mean, from the bye, the home field advantage, the division, and it's everything's compacted so tight is that when you lose, the Rams have got 11 wins, the Seahawks 11 wins, the 49ers 10 wins. All these teams have racked up huge wins. The Bears are 10-4. The Packers are 9-4-1. You can take a tumble real easy. And so, yeah, it is a big game. It's huge. It's a really, really huge game. Willie Bowen, I have confidence in the LA Rams that they will dominate and win against the Sea Chickens. Horns up. Well, we're going to talk about a little bit of the history there. But I think the Rams should win this game. But can I just say this without sounding heretical? I think the Rams could lose this game. And I know Steeler fan Rob, who's the ultimate harpy, because he's so used to his team going 9-8, 10-7, and then losing in the first round of the playoffs, which they'll likely do this year. He's just going to be that guy in the corner just giggling and sick and all that kind of stuff because he loves to hassle people. Honestly, I'm not going to be broken up if the Rams lose this game. Should the Rams win this game? Yeah, right? I'm not going to be broken up if they lose because the Seahawks are a really good team and they're at home, right? And so just something, I guess, it's going to see how it plays out. You just don't want the Rams to lose it on something stupid. You'd hate for them to lose it because an official, decides to take the game away from you like it did against the Ravens, against the Steelers a couple weeks ago. Or hurt the Dolphins yesterday with that taunting call. Anyway, I digress. Let me share with you, Willie. You brought it up. Rams are 2-0 in Seattle in playoff games. Micah, you were talking about how big this game feels. Rams are 2-0 against the Seahawks in the playoffs in Seattle, right? And the Rams are 6-3 playing in Seattle under McVay, right? 6-3. And one of those playoff wins was under McVay as well. And you went in there with starting with John Wolford, and you ended up with Jared Goff coming in, who had been benched. Now they were talking about his hand and his thumb and all that. But, if he was able to finish the rest of the game and able to start the next week in Green Bay. But, he was on the outs big time. And yet the Rams won in Seattle that playoff game. So Lumen's never been a house of horrors for the Rams. I always felt the Superdome was a place that zapped the energy from the Rams when they went there. But Rams are in really good shape. It should not be the case of oh my gosh, we're playing in Seattle. Rams play road games. If they have 17 games a year, 16 of them are road games, even in SoFi. Again, we've talked about the Rams base crowd and who goes to SoFi. So, yeah. Let's see here. Boom. Mike Gutierrez. Stafford is also undefeated as a Ram versus Seattle as of today. Yeah, he missed both games in 2022, didn't he? They won in 2021. He missed both games in 2022. Am I correct on that? I think you've got something there, Micah. If you get a chance, you can look that sucker up. We'll be happy to take a look at that. Let's keep pressing here. Oh, boom, boom, boom. All right, I got it. Cool. All right. Oh, just this note came in saying we were coming through and broadcasting clearly. All right. Outstanding. All right. Let's see here. A couple other things, some housekeeping things. Looking at the Rams offensive line, Warren McClendon now, 438 snaps at right tackle this year. He's given up 7 pressures. 4 of those pressures were when he started his first game against Frisco and the one we lost at SoFi. But in 7 pressures he's given up no hits and no sacks in 438 snaps. I think Warren McClendon is helping the Rams draft room right now. What they're doing is they're looking at their tackle spot, and they're looking at their offensive line spot, and they're saying, we may not need to draft a guy in the top 100, but maybe in the 5th round, which is the golden round for the Rams, right? Anytime the Rams move or receive a 5th round pick, you got to figure that's a premium pick, right? And so they might be looking at taking somebody there instead of having to take somebody, right? Because Alaric Jackson's locked up. He's been exceptional this year. And then you got Warren McClendon coming into his own. Now you'll have to extend McClendon because next year is the last year of his contract, but you'll get to see him play it out. And again, what does that offer? that offers more flexibility. You can't get a better look-see or preview than a guy on a team playing right tackle for a team that's 11-3 when it's as competitive as it has been in the NFC West and in the NFC altogether. And if the Rams make a run to the Super Bowl or they make a deep run into the playoffs, you've got your right tackle, and they will eventually sometime next year extend him. But that locks it up, and that frees up that draft capital that you're not beholden to draft something out of desperation, that it gives you more flexibility to maybe draft another beast on the defensive line, right? Maybe it gives you that ability to move back, because you don't want to draft. A lot of people don't. The adage is you don't want to draft a center or guard in the top 10, but you can move back and get the same type of player and then pick up some capital along the way. So not having to draft a tackle, that's huge. And again, that's just Rams player development. Let's just say it what it is. Also, I've got to say it, I'm still not a huge fan, but I don't want to be a harpy. Let's give credit where credit is due. Coleman Shelton is having the best year of his career. Tim Burns, thank you, Mr. Burns, for watching us. You're watching us on Facebook right now. I do appreciate that. But Coleman Shelton is having the best year of his career. He is. His everything is showing better than when he was a starter for the Rams in 2023, and much better than when the Bears wanted to get rid of him after 2024. I was not the guy I want. I think he's too small. I don't think he moves the pile enough, but he's given the Rams what the Rams needed. He is smart. I think he does understand how to play the position. Again, spirit is willing, flesh is weak. He's just not a beast in size-wise and strength. You're just hoping that was just a one-off on Sunday where a couple of those snaps went awry between him and Stafford, because we haven't seen that all year. We're just going to hope that's an aberration. I bring up McClendon and I bring up Coleman Shelton because, and you can talk about the whole offensive line if you want to, is again, another big test for these guys is the Seattle front. Now, Byron Murphy is having a good year, not a great year. Jerron Reed, who's back, didn't play against the Rams. He's another beast along that front line. And, of course, Leonard Williams is an all-pro, probably playing at a Hall of Fame level throughout his career if he was just playing with winning teams instead of the Jets, Giants, and the Seahawks. You get lost in Seattle real quick. But that's a significant defensive front. And if this offensive line can show out again against this kind of a defensive front, then, Rams have got something really special cooking with this offensive line. And so, you want to keep an eye on that, definitely. Let's see. I don't know how to pronounce that. AIB SW9 Southwest Texas. I'm not sure. What do you think the Rams will prioritize? Stopping the run game or Smith-Njigba and the pass game? That's a great question. I think I was looking this up earlier today. The Seahawks, Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, their longest runs this year have only been about 30 yards. They have not been super explosive. My feeling is you want to stop the big play. Seattle's been living off the big play. If you ask Sam Darnold, my opinion, if you ask Sam Darnold to be steady and consistent and matriculate down the field, as Hank Stram once said, he's going to end up making a mistake. He's going to end up doing something. Somewhere along the way, there's going to be a problem. And I was just going to bring this up. Charles Cross at left tackle and Abraham Lucas at right tackle, the Washington State guy, they've had a really good year, right? Cross has been consistent. Abraham Lucas is back to where he was, say, I think it was in 2022 or 2023, his rookie year. He's playing well. In fact, I think they extended him. And but they've got problems in the interior. I know Gray Zabel is everyone likes him, and he's been okay for a rookie. But they've got problems. And if you're asking Sam Darnold to string together a bunch of plays against this Ram defense, it's not going to happen. So long way around the horn there, Migo. I think they're going to try to do everything they can to take away the big play. And as the season has worn on, it seems like they've become much more JSN dependent. So my guess is take away the big play. And again, What's the issue here? We talked about this on yesterday's broadcast. Is I shared that I believe the Rams pass rush to this point is probably a bit overrated. They seem to get a little bit of pressure, but they never seem to finish. And I'm good if they don't get a sack and it turns out the way it turned out with Darnold a few weeks ago. They didn't get a sack that night, but they forced him into 4 turnovers, 4 interceptions. I'm good with that, but I still want to see them wrap up that quarterback and bring him down a little bit. And I think they're a little slow doing that. I think that, and again, just to hear the media talk about, well, I don't like the Rams corners. Well, when you're not getting to the quarterback and a quarterback that's elite like Jared Goff, and they got elite receivers like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams, that's going to torch you. You're going to get torched. No one's going to cover somebody that long, right? So I don't think the Seahawks trio or core group of receivers are as good as Williams and St. Brown are, but you don't want to find out. You need to get on them. And I'm just wondering, I don't know why Akilla Witherspoon, I don't know if anyone heard anything, why Akilla Witherspoon was a healthy scratch. Maybe just back from off the IR, played a little bit the week before, giving him some rest and gearing everything up to maybe really using him this Thursday night. That'll be something to watch to see who's active and who's inactive in this game. So, yeah, I think it really is about stopping JSN because he is their big play guy. And if you take the big play away from Sam Darnold, he becomes pretty ordinary, right? Remember, the Rams beat Sam Darnold in the last game of 2023 when he was 49er quarterback. And I know that was a throwaway game. They beat him twice last year, and they smoked him last year, and then they smoked him a few weeks ago. And the Rams are not afraid of Sam Darnold, but it doesn't mean Sam Darnold can't beat you, and you just got to be careful there. Sorry, I went long on that one. Paul, do you think Kupp will be with Seattle next year? Yeah, I think he will be, but we're seeing it, right? I mean, Kupp's been okay. I thought he'd be a little bit better this year, but we're seeing it that Rams made the right move. As much pain as it causes, the Rams made the right move. Yes, Marketing Pro, you're right. There's a hamstring issue with Charles Cross. And I don't know if that's an absolute, but man, if he's not playing, because it is a short week, right? If he's not ready to rumble, I don't think he participated today. If he's not ready to rumble, of course, I think today, or was that Monday, it was just a walkthrough. I don't know what happened today. But that's going to be really interesting to see. That's good news for the Rams. Thank you for bringing that up. I heard about it. I didn't put it in my notes. You saved me from looking stupid. Thank you, man. Mikey Gutierrez, I bet Puka will be eager to have a big day, especially after that bogus ejection at Lumen last year. Yeah, there you go. You did read my notes, right? Because that happened last year, how stupid that was. I think we can agree Sam Darnold's better than Geno Smith, but man, let's remember the Rams kind of had that game in control even without Puka. And then JSN and Geno Smith got hot, and we needed those Cam Kitchen plays to change the outcome of that game. But, I do like the Rams in this game. I think the Rams are capable of losing this game, but I don't think it's the end of the world if they do. Right now, I like the Rams 20-17. Michael Negretti. Is it Wednesday already? I'm so confused. Vinny Barbarino. No, man. My schedule yesterday was blown up because I had some business to take care of at my church, and I got business to take care of tomorrow afternoon at my church. And so my schedule tomorrow is going to be a little wacky. I am going to get on. I just don't know when. And I felt like being also that this is a short week, we needed to have a little blast today, if you guys are cool with that. I don't want to overexpose too much. Did get a haircut today. There you go. All right. Bill, comparing 49ers, Seahawks, Rams. Rams have an easier schedule down the stretch. Yeah, they really do. I was going to go over that, and you just preempted me. There you go. I'll do this again. Okay, Fog City has 10 wins this year. All right. Fog City has 10 wins. 2 teams they've beaten with winning records. You know who they are? Seahawks in week 1 which week 1 for most of the NFL, thanks to Sean McVay, is basically week 4 of the preseason, right? Everyone's kind of just getting their bearings, right? I saw a bit of Colin Cowherd today where they were trying to make a big deal that the Texans defense limited the Rams to just 14 points in week 1. Week 1, right? Week 1. That's all I'll say, right? So 49ers beat the Seahawks in week 1, and then because Kyron Williams gave them a win when he fumbled at the 6-inch line, they beat the Rams. So they got 2 wins against 2 11-win teams. That means the Rams and Seahawks have combined for 22 wins. The other 8 teams, including the Cardinals twice, the other 8 teams the 49ers have beaten have combined for 29 wins. 2 teams, the Rams, Seahawks, division opponents, they've 22 wins. Everyone else they've beaten, 29 wins. The last 6 victories for the 49ers, the teams have had 5 wins, 2 wins, 3 wins, 7 wins, 3 wins, and 2 wins. Yeah, that's not very good. It's a great job by Shanahan and his staff. Great job by Shanahan and his staff, but not necessarily something that's going to, it's going to change the world here, right? And so they got to go to the Colts with Phillip Rivers, who nearly pulled it off in Seattle. And then this again makes me think, how come Sam Darnold and JSN and that Seahawk offense couldn't get into the end zone at home against a Colt defense that didn't have Sauce Gardner, that didn't have Charvarius Ward, right? I don't even know if they had Kenny Moore back there, right? So 49ers now have to go to play that Colt team in Indy, and then the 49ers have to play the Bears and the Seahawks. And before we think that, week 18, I don't know about week 18 just being a week that you play your reserves, even for the Rams, right? Nothing's going to be wrapped up if they win Thursday night. So they beat Seattle. They're going to have to keep, I think some of those starters are going to have to play against the Cardinals. And I don't think you should overlook the Falcons on the Rams case where they're at home Monday night. They don't want to be embarrassed. So these games are going to be played for keeps. And that's why I think Seattle likely, same thing with the Bears in week 17 and the Seahawks in week 18, when they go to Levi, they're going to be playing for keeps. So it's not going to be the ability to pick up any cheapies. We might have seen the 49ers at their best this year. 49ers could actually finish this year 10-7. So that was a good pull there, Bill, to bring it up. You beat me at this one. You beat me really good. There you go. Let's see here. AIB Southwest, agree with you on the pass rush. Underwhelming lately, but do kick it up a notch. Yeah, I agree. You're absolutely right. When they have to, they do. It's just as Ram fans, they put us through the ringer, right? They put us through the ringer. Our other guy here, former sports writer as well, Steve Ramirez, he was talking about how Rams do make that adjustment after those initial drives. But, man, that first half last week, I can handle being down. But what I can't handle is when you've got something elite and it's not playing elite. And it's just, and you're seeing this trending. It's like, no, man, get out there and knock the dude on his butt. You want to just see them hit, right? Yeah, good call. Micah, unless the Bears tumble, yeah, we're likely playing for the number 1 seed until week 18. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if there's going to be an absolute game where you get like it has the last 2 years where it didn't matter. I don't know if that's coming. And if all these games matter, I think that hurts Frisco, right? I think that really hurts the Steelers because not the Steelers, I'm sorry, the 49ers, that really hurts them because all those teams are playing for something. Bears are playing for something. The Seahawks are playing for something, and the Colts too, right? Colts aren't done yet. So a lot to keep an eye on there. All right, my name is Joe Terosian as a sports writer for 21 years. I still am, and I do contributions to Mid-Valley Sports, and I was one of the founding guys there. Now I just participate. Mr. Good Tim Burns does drop in columns there about the NFL. You might want to check that out. Also, our number one sponsor is Kistler Law. Very blessed to have a sponsor. We don't have a Patreon account. We don't have a paywall we hide behind. We have sponsors, and Kistler Law is one of them. Get the compensation you deserve. Click on that QR code, and they can really help you. I know firsthand. Also, be sure to check out sports ball games. Sports ball games is really cool because it's become such a dominant thing in our culture in terms of the gambling and the fantasy sports. But if you're looking for a way to bring your crew together, say on game day or Super Bowl Sunday, without the gambling stress or the fantasy overload, try sports ball games. Free pick'em and squares, live leaderboards, and bragging rights built in. One click and you're in. No fees, no spreadsheets, no headaches. Join sports fun for you and your whole group to enjoy. Whether you're cheering from the break room or the backyard, sports ball games makes every game day a team event. Play for fun, brag for real. There you go. Check that out. Join sports ball games. I'm going to drop them right there into the comment box. And I see you there, ESG. I promise I'll get to you in a second. And I'll even drop it in right there, Mr. Burns, on Facebook. Look at that. We're working all the stuff today. Boom. There we go. Okay. Also, game day in the Ram Cave. My time as a sports writer allowed me to do other things, but my day job is I pastor a small church in Burbank out here in California. And part of that is it's not very much money. So I've always been bivocational. So I spent most of my career as a sports writer and pastor of a church. And as the newspaper business kind of dried up, I started gravitating to writing books. And I've written 3 football novels. 2 of them are about high school, and this one, Game Day in the Ram Cave. Basically, the premise is if you've ever tried to watch the big game without riffraff, I don't know how you feel, but I get really upset when someone comes over to watch a game at my place and all they're into is the commercials for the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm not a good person to be around for that kind of stuff. We call it riffraff, and basically that's what that story is based on. All right, let's keep rolling here. Who do we got here? We got ESG, West, North, NFC, 68 wins, East, South, 44 wins. We need to reseed the teams for the playoffs, which is interesting. Yeah, Seattle could finish with 13 wins, and they would have to go on the road to Tampa if the playoffs were today. You know what? When you're the number 1 seed, I don't care. When the Rams get jobbed, I'll be upset. I definitely think the division winner should get a home game. I do. But then after that, if Seattle is 13-4 and I don't know, the Packers are 14-3, then or whatever, or the Bears or whatever got a worse record, the Bears should have to go. Then it should be the best record. There, I flubbed that, but you know what I mean. That's what I think. All right. Let's see. Michael Negretti. Pastor Joe, Parkinson is playing great. He's such a disease. Yeah, I've been dealing with that one with a friend of mine, and well, you're all friends of mine, but he said, how are you going to incorporate the Parkinson's? And I said, I don't know, man. You never know. It's a tough world out there. Everyone gets uptight about everything, and I said, I don't know how that's going to work out, calling it Parkinson's disease. You can say a touch of Parkinson's if you want. All right, let's keep rolling here. I'm not uptight, so I can laugh at anything and such. So hot seat, coaches on the hot seat. I'm going to list all these coaches here that I think could be fired. I think Todd Bowles could be fired. I don't think Todd Bowles is a bad coach, but this late season collapse here is really hurting him. Pete Carroll, overdone with gone. Raheem Morris, yeah, I think Raheem Morris could get KO'd. If Raheem Morris doesn't get KO'd in the offseason, he gets KO'd midseason next year. Mike McDaniel, hey, he made a good run. I think he gave great, strong showcase. You can't fire Tua, right? That party's over in Miami. But here's the problem. They fired the GM. You can't fire Tua, as bad as Tua was. Tua on the roster next year is a 56 rock cap hit, right? If they want to move off of Tua is a 99.2 rock cap hit. When I say rock, I'm talking millions. That means he's a $99 million dead cap hit if you move off Tua next year. 99 rocks, that is the wrath of God, right? Tua's probably not going to go anywhere. You need a head coach that can come in and figure out to make this work for the next couple years, and a GM that says, yeah, sorry, Dolphin fans, we're still going to suck for another 3 or 4 years, but we're going to build up some draft capital. You need to move off of Waddle. You need to move off of any other talent. Unfortunately, the Vultures are going to come in and say, give us Devin Achane. Give us Devin Achane. In fact, they should be offering Devin Achane up right now. I can see the 49ers going after Devin Achane as Christian McCaffrey winds down. I can see the Bills going after Devin Achane. I could see the Baltimore Ravens going after Devin Achane. I could see a lot of teams going after. I can see the Cowboys going after. Someone is going to go after Devin Achane, and the Dolphins have to be listening, right? They have to be listening. But a new coach has got to come in, Mike McDaniel. And then, Mike McDaniel, you ever hear him at the podium? He sounds like a guy who looks like him trying to ask the hot chick out to a date, right? Would you like to, yeah. It's like she's looking at him like, are you crazy, right? But that's how he sounds when he's at the podium. Mike Tomlin will not be fired, but Mike Tomlin and the Steelers may decide to go a different way. I like Jonathan Gannon in Arizona, but this losing streak, everything's falling apart. I think he gets the boot. And a couple to keep an eye on that I just added, Zach Taylor with Cincy. This whole thing's falling apart. The emotional IQ of this whole organization, it needs a reset. I think Zach Taylor is gone. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, just for putting Jaden Daniels out there, Dan Quinn needs to go. And of course, like clockwork, Steve Wilkes, longtime DC, longtime HC in the NFL, he has been fired by the Jets as a DC. Remember, he was hired by the Cardinals. Then they fired him after 1 year. He kind of was like fired along with Josh Rosen, because then in 2019, they brought in Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. He was let go as the Browns DC in 2019. He was the scapegoat for Kyle Shanahan's failure in the Super Bowl after the 2023 season. And Wilkes is out on the street again. Man, I don't know how a guy gets fired that often, but he keeps finding work. So good for him, right? Good for him. Terry Wright, you are watching us. Thank you, Terry. I do appreciate you being here all the way up from San Luis Obispo. There you go. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm sorry, boom. Who do we got? Paul, do you think Shula ends up in Miami next year? I think they're going to go after Shula. I think Shula has to recognize that would be the biggest mistake of his career. He can ultimately be a head coach in Miami, but who would go to Miami right now, right? Miami needs an offensive guy that really knows how to work with Tua. I know McDaniels is considered an offensive guy, but the way McDaniels mumbles at the mic, can you imagine him in the room? Okay, guys, we want to get over here and let's go trips. Gross, right? Fire him. You need another head coach. You need somebody to come in, got some energy as a play caller. Maybe one of those Kubiak kids, either in Seattle or Frisco. Get one of those Kubiak kids in there. Get somebody who can kind of work with Tua for the next year or two. Trade off all your talent, because you can't get rid of Tua. You are stuck with Tua. He's the equivalent of what it says in the Bible about, it would be better for you if a millstone was tied around your neck and you were thrown in the ocean. Basically, Tua is the millstone to this organization. 99 rocks, dead cap. You can't get rid of him. You can't. $5 Steve. Do you think the Chiefs signed Jimmy G in the offseason since Mahomes is likely out in the middle to the middle of 2026. I heard that surgery, I think I got it from Mr. Burns. That surgery revealed some deeper issues there in terms of tear they went through today. And that he could be out till mid-season or even further. That's Jimmy G's call, right? Jimmy G's a free agent. We don't have Jimmy G under contract for next year, do we? Jimmy G's a free agent. But again, I think Jimmy G might want to be looking for the right opportunity. Kansas City has no weapons. There's just no weapons. You trust Rashid Sheehy? I don't trust him, right? Do you trust Worthy? Do you trust Hollywood Brown, who was out last week? Jimmy G at this stage of his career doesn't want to go somewhere where he's going to get his butt handed to him, right? I think he's going to be very discerning on where he decides to land. Now, if he's under contract, that would be righteous, right? And you get a truckload for him. But I'd be very careful. I know the Andy Reid thing might be a draw, but man, I'd definitely be thinking about something else if I was Jimmy G. And I don't know where that's at right now. I haven't given it much thought, but I'd definitely be thinking about that. And you never know. He might be hanging around. Maybe Rams win the Super Bowl. Maybe Stafford says, you know what, that's it. And he's the bridge guy, right? You definitely would keep him around if you drafted a younger quarterback, which likely probably won't be Fernando Mendoza. But I don't think he'd want to go to KC, right? Michael Negretti, Pastor Joe, how is the weather in SoCal? We've been in the 40s since December 1st in the Central Valley. It's been like in the high 70s. It sucks, right? We a few weeks ago, it was really cold all the time. We were in the low 60s, and then it kind of kicked up to the high 70s, a little bit into the 80s. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Where are you in the Central Valley? Are you in the Bakersfield region? Are you up near Fresno, Visalia, Tulare? Where are you at in between? I know the 99. I know all that road up there. Let me know generalize. You don't have to tell me where you live, but generalize where you're at. All right. So looking at that, I saw this thing. Was it Shannon Sharp said the Colts should have signed Colin Kaepernick? Colin Kaepernick, the guy that lost his job to Blaine Gabbert in 2016, is suddenly going to be better than the 44-year-old Hall of Fame bound, eventually, Phillip Rivers, who last played in 2020, played exceptionally well and lost a playoff game. No one forced Phillip Rivers out of this league, right? No one even decided we don't want Phillip Rivers in this league. They did with Kaepernick. And it's just amazing how again, don't let anyone ever doubt you and your opinion in terms of football, because you got guys making millions of dollars giving stupid opinions like that. Jets release Alan Lazard. Sounds like he's going to be a Steeler already, right? Join MVS and reconstitute that Green Bay experience. Speaking of the Jets, they've signed former Ram Ochoan Mathis. Wow, he's still bouncing around. And another former Ram, Broncos have claimed Cody Schrader off waivers from Houston. He's bounced around a little bit, and I was expecting so much more. Terry Wright. I don't know, Terry. Are you a Dolphin fan? Yeah, he does. Tua definitely does need a coach. Absolutely. Let's see here. Boom. Mike Gutierrez. Looks like the Rams have brought back the immortal chamber to their the immortal chamber for Process for Devontae. Hey man, give him whatever he needs. Uncle Stan has tons of resources, so do it. All right, north of Visalia, Dinuba. All right, I know people from Dinuba. There was a Dinuba Church of the Nazarene up there. Did you know about 5 years ago, I don't think I've ever mentioned it here, I was actually semi-interviewed for a job up there in Kingsburg, which is kind of the Solvang of the Central Cal area. But yeah, I almost thought about going to Kingsburg Nazarene, and in the end, it just didn't work out. But I do know up there it can get hot, and then you get that Thule fog up there, and that's wrath of God stuff, man. That's pretty serious stuff that you deal with up there. All right, let's keep pressing on. Let's look at the schedule. Okay, Rams-Seahawks Thursday night. Rams under McVay are 6-3 against Seattle in Seattle. Rams, speaking of the level of this feels like a playoff game almost because so much is on the line. Rams are 2-0 in playoff games against the Seahawks. Both of them were played in Seattle. Also, there's 2 games on Saturday that have been flexed to Saturday. Eagles are playing the Texans. Yeah, they're playing in D.C., but I think Dan Quinn's mismanaged that situation. And the Eagles need to keep winning to better their deal going into January. So I'm going to take the Eagles in that one. I did think it was kind of funny how everyone was talking about how Jalen Hurts came back and made everything right on Sunday. He beat the Raiders. The Raiders 31-3, okay, or 31-0. So, but the Eagles will beat the Texans. Packers at Bears. Jalen Watson is a bigger deal than Micah Parsons. He is. He's a bigger deal. Parsons is a nice piece. Parsons is not a defining piece. Not a defining piece. And the Packers are going to struggle. Right now, I'm leaning Bears there, and I think people are going to make too much of it when the Bears win. Sunday, Buccaneers at Panthers for all the marbles. I would have said Panthers last Saturday, and then they went and swallowed the jalapeno down in New Orleans. So Buccaneers, Panthers, I don't know. I'm going to go Buccaneers because I believe in Baker. Bills at Browns, we'll go Bills. Chargers at Cowboys. This is the kind of game the Chargers usually lose, but I'm going to go Chargers in this one. Bengals at Dolphins to see which coach can get fired quicker. I'm going Dolphins in this one. I think things are really amiss there in Cincy. Amiss. Jets at Saints. We're going with the Saints. I think they found their quarterback, at least for a while. Vikings at Giants. I think they're feeling really good about themselves. The Vikings are. Giants haven't felt good about themselves since 2012 or 2011. Chiefs at the Titans. I'm actually taking the Titans in this one. I'm going to go against the mustache, and I'm going to take Cam Ward in this one. Falcons at the Cardinals. You'd think the Cardinals would be able to do us a solid, but I'm going to take the Falcons. Falcons aren't going to do us any favors. Jaguars at the Broncos. I'll tell you this. Raheem Morris loses to the Cardinals. He's not coming back next year. Jaguars at the Broncos. We're going to find out. That's like a playoff preview. That's a real playoff preview with teams still with plenty to play for in terms of seeding and everything. That's going to be a playoff game. Jaguars Broncos should be a really good game. I'm going to lean Broncos. Steelers at Lions. I bet against the Steelers because I thought the Dolphins were hot. I knew better, but I still did because I thought the Dolphins playing in cold weather wouldn't work. I was right. Shouldn't have done it, but I did. That's why I don't bet for real. I'm going to take the Lions at home against the Steelers. Lions are just too fast for the Steelers. Raiders at Texans. Yeah, that's a bloodbath in Houston. And then Sunday night, Patriots at the Ravens. Ravens have to have it. They scored what? 17 in Cincy? Yeah, just not believing. I'm going Patriots, even on the road. 49ers at Colts next Monday night. I'm actually leaning towards the Colts in this one. So we'll see. That can change. We still got a Friday show to do and such. So we'll see how that plays out. Boom. AIB, why all the Joe Burrow talk? Isn't he more fragile than an older? I agree. And I don't think Stafford's really been that fragile, right? But yeah, I'm not in on a Joe Burrow trade. I'm in on a Joe Burrow trade if it's a draft pick. Like, hey, we'll give you a late first-round pick for him, but I'm not into him. I think he's a good quarterback to great quarterback, but he's never healthy. You're right. I'm right there with you. Bill, you California. It's our funny 22 degrees in New Hope, Pennsylvania. You know what we do here in California? I know I do. I want it to snow. I want it to be cold. I want all that. And then they keep telling us, guys like you, saying you don't want it. I got to tell you, driving into Gettysburg, almost like I do almost every other year, I've done it about 5 or 6 times, coming through Maryland, West Virginia, up through there and working our way up to Gettysburg. That is the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I think Pennsylvania is the most underrated state in terms of beauty. I think it's gorgeous. Let's see, $5 Steve. I almost left the Tribune for the Santa Clarita Signal, but covering JV didn't interest me and pay was lower. 6 months later, I was promoted to Trib prep editor. There you go. Why the Trib doesn't – we've talked about this, Steve. We respect you. We don't understand why you are utilized even more. Anyway, you're like number one grinder guy. You're like the guy you could plug and play anywhere. Yeah, good job. Good for you, though, Steve. Good for you. And a great career. Michael Negretti, Eagles win, Cowboys are eliminated, fly, Eagles fly. Yeah, Cowboys are toast. Cowboys are toast. JJ McCarthy, expose them. Bill, Las Vegas is bad Division 3 team. Is a bad Division 3 team. Eagles beat nobody. I agree. Fully. Bill, how will the Rams play in the rain on Thursday? The way they played in the snow in Philly last January, this version of the Rams, weather cannot be an excuse. It just can't. You got a 13-year veteran at quarterback from the NFC North, right? You just can't use it as an excuse. And I won't. I probably will say if the Rams suck, they suck, and they can't say, well, it was bad weather. You just can't. And game comes down to 17-16, and Mevis misses a 47-yard field goal. It's a driving rainstorm. Okay, that's what happens, but you got to play, right? Hopefully what they'll do is they'll pound the ball. They'll just pound the ball in the rain, just pound. And then when they don't know what to do, just pound it some more. Bill, Devontae Adams will not play on Thursday due to rain and his hamstring. Did they make that official? I don't mind the rain. I think the rain hurts the Seahawks more because I think they need bigger plays. We can grind a little bit better, I think. Actual David Henry, hey, tell the audience to hit the like button. Can you guys hit the like button? I'm terrible at this. Thank you. Hit the like button and subscribe, guys. You'll really, really help me out a ton there, if you will. Thank you so much. Thank you, David. I do appreciate that. Let me put that there. David's looking out for me. He deserves it. Thank you. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. I do appreciate that. Tim Burns has the Rams 40-20 over Seattle. Hey, let me throw this out at you. I threw it out at the beginning of the show regarding Devontae Adams. If he can move a little bit, do the Rams keep him active and just put him on the field in a first and goal at the 5 situation, right? Just so he's somebody the Seahawks have to account for, right? He can move a little bit in space. Obviously, he can't run any go routes, any 9 routes, any posts. But down there at the goal line, you use him as a decoy, again, as Don Maynard was used in Super Bowl III. Again, hit the like button. Thank you, David. Mr. Powers in Irvine, call him $10, Steve. Okay. We call him, actually, he's been called Stevie R for years. There we go. 5-0. I do worry about Shelton against the Seahawks middle. Yeah, me too. And, I've had to do a little backtrack on the Shelton thing. He's played really well this year, but a man does have limitations. ESG, 3 of our stars have played in cold weather. Stafford at Detroit, Puka at BYU, and Devontae at Green Bay. Yeah, preach. There you go. And Alaric Jackson went to Iowa, right? He went to Iowa, so he knows what that's all about. And such. So yeah, we do got guys that do know this. Where did Coleman Shelton go to school? Did Coleman Shelton go to Washington? I think he went to Washington. Let's see here. $5 Steve. No, Rams sent out that Devontae Adams has not been ruled out yet. Okay, so again, that thing remains up in the air. I do like my idea of the whole idea of just using him around the goal line. Tim Burns, sit Adams unless he is 90%, right? Again, don't do anything with him. Just trot him out there and make them think, right? You make them think. All right, I've been told to use this more.
It was a stone groove, my man.
Yes, it was a stone groove, and it was a stone groove December 16th, 1945, when Bob Waterfield hit Jim Benton for the game-winning touchdown pass early on, and they beat the Washington Redskins 15-14 in Cleveland for the NFL title.
It was a stone groove, my man.
And they were celebrating in Rams Talk that night, right here online. There you go. 1972, on this date, the Rams deactivated Charlie Cowan with a groin injury, and they activated a free agent linebacker who was on the taxi squad named Ken Geddes. Geddes comes in and becomes a starting outside linebacker for the Rams through 1975 and is eventually lost to the Seahawks in the expansion draft. At that point in 75, the Rams had Jim Youngblood. They had a developing Rick Kay. They had just drafted, I think, a guy named Kevin McClain, and Geddes was left exposed. The Seahawks took him. He played a couple years for the Seahawks, and I think he also went to Buffalo for a cup of coffee with Chuck Knox there at the end of his career. From what I was told, from what I read also, they said Geddes was a great guy, a great clubhouse guy. And so I always do like remembering Ken Geddes. He also had a key interception against the Vikings in the 1974 regular season. Rams came back and won that game in the Coliseum. I listened to it on the radio. Jack Snow made a one-handed catch for a game-winning touchdown. And then on the final drive, Geddes picked off Tarkenton. Yeah, I got a memory for those things because I'm very spiteful and I despise the Vikings. On this day in 1997, the Rams waived center Bernd Brostick. First round, 23rd overall, 1990 out of the University of Washington. Starter for 6 of his 8 seasons with the Rams. And he wore number 61. He's the one that broke the chain. Ken Iman came in 65 as the Rams starting center, and he was the starting center through the 74 season. From 75 through 81, it was Rich Saw, who also wore number 61. And then from 82 on through the 1990, I think it was, 91, it was Doug Smith was the Rams starting center. And then when his career ended, Rams drafted Bernd Brostick. I remember being really happy about it, but he was okay. He wasn't exceptional. Doug Smith, Ken Iman, Rick Saw were exceptional. In fact, Rick Saw was very good. And, he just, again, another one of those Ram players that didn't go to a Super Bowl and or win a Super Bowl and is going to be completely overlooked historically. On this day in 1998, Rams signed former Notre Dame quarterback who was supposed to win 2 Heisman trophies to their practice squad. And his name was Ron Powlus. And in 2022, the Rams waived the guy who fit the suit, looked really good, but low motor, Terrell Lewis, who was a 3rd-round pick of the team, I think in 2018, and he just was a low-energy guy. Let's see. Micah Gutierrez. Got you there, Micah. I'm all in on Devontae in the goal line if the field is not wet. All right, cool. Okay. Mr. Powers, yes, Devontae at the goal line if able. See how better the world works when you all agree with me? Awesome. $5 Steve, I love the decoy idea. Seattle double covers him, leaving gaps in the run game at the goal line. Yeah, right? If that happens, can we just all go crazy and celebrate if that happens? That'll be awesome. Let's see here. Slim Hansen. Hi, Joe. I am starting to think this team is special. Lifelong fan. Deacon Jones, I remember when I was young. Slim, thank you for joining us. As David Henry has reminded me, hit like and subscribe, everybody. Hey, if you like Deacon Jones, his biography is called Head Slap. It's out of print. You could probably find it on Amazon. It'll cost probably a left wrist and an arm to pay for it. It's probably like $45. Shouldn't be, but maybe you can get a used one. Head Slap's a real interesting insight into his career. Much better at the start of his career and talked about his Ram experience. After he leaves the Rams, it gets a little boring, but it talks about his great relationship with George Allen. You might want to check that one out. Slim, dang, I hate the Vikings. We related from Iowa here. Rams game in Seattle is so big. Iowa, I like Iowa. My problem with Iowa is that I haven't seen enough of it. I've only been on interstate in Iowa, right? And I know that's not fair. I'm not slamming Iowa, but I read a lot of Kinsella. I read a lot of Shoeless Joe. I read the Iowa Baseball Confederacy and stuff, the way he described Iowa. I haven't been off road in Iowa, only interstate, but cool. You're with us from Iowa. Thank you so much. You an LA guy that moved? Something to think about. Let's see. Bill, I envy you being able to listen to the Ram games on the radio. I had to wait 20 years when I was able to get DirecTV. I'd be curious to know how you became a Ram fan. And I got to tell you, I don't listen to the games anymore on the radio. Not that I'm bagging JB Long and those guys. I'm not saying they're bad. But, man, I grew up listening to Dick Enberg, right? And then when Enberg went, guy came in for a couple of years named Al Wisk, who was pretty good. And I don't know what became of Al Wisk. And then through the 80s, Bob Starr was really good. Not Enberg level, but he was really good. And then at that same time here in LA, we had Chick Hearn and Vin Scully. And the underrated guy that no one remember, well, hockey fans do, Bob Miller calling Kings games. So, yeah, we were pretty blessed. Let's see. Boom. $5 Steve, did you hear Tarkington's interview last week? He put the blame of Super Bowl losses on Grant because they didn't practice the week after the NFC title games in the 3 Super Bowl losses. Really? Well, did he ever see what was it? Tom Flores didn't have the Raiders practice. He let them do whatever they wanted to do and just said, be ready. And they talked about how Dick Vermeil made the Eagles in Super Bowl 15 really work that whole time they were off, and they were all tense and they weren't loose. And that's just kind of weak sauce to take a shot at Grant now. Wow, no, I'm going to have to try to dig that sucker out. I wonder if Tarkenton's got some old age issues that he's just doesn't have a filter anymore. Why would you say that? That's a terrible thing to say. Randy Gray, thank you, Randy. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. With only 1 sack last week, I think it's time for our D-line to impose their will on Thursday night. Puka's injury was a blessing in disguise, and I think we have to work without Devontae. To work without Devontae will be as well. Yes. Okay, I agree with all that. My thing is, do you agree with me where I've said I think the Rams pass rush may have been a little overrated, just a little bit overrated? Tim Burns, have you read The Diary of a Young Girl? I recently read Anne Frank. Yes, I did, because everyone in high school, I was told by people that you have to read this. You have to read this. It was like Catcher in the Rye. And if you tell me I have to read something, I'm not going to read it. I read it. I was moved. It was a great story, just really sad timing of it all. It is a major, it is a bummer. There you go, Mr. Burns. What are you doing to me? Let's see. Slim Hansen out of Iowa. It's been a cold winter here. I had a brother that lived in Omaha. In fact, I still have one that lives in Omaha. He's a dentist. And they talked about one of them lives in Michigan. And he says the heavy lake effect snow wasn't near as bad as the ice they used to get in Nebraska, where 1 inch of ice just changed everything. Randy Gray agrees with me that the pass rush is a tad bit overrated. Thank you. All right, cool. I agree as well. Hey, let's keep pressing on here real quick here. Born on this day in Rams history, Jerry Gray, first-round pick, number 21 overall, 1985, out of Texas. 7 seasons, 4 Pro Bowls with the Rams. Really liked Jerry Gray. I think later on he became a DC. So that one was cool. And then Rams on this day in 1973 beat the Browns 30-17. McCutcheon went over 1,000 yards that day. McCutcheon, I think, had 1,097 yards in just 12 games. He missed 2 games with a hamstring that year. And then 1979, believe it or not, the Rams lost to the Saints 29-14 on this day in December, and yet still found their way to the Super Bowl. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, I think I got all that stuff in there. Cool. We did it. Outstanding. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Bill from Philly. I agree with our pass rush being overrated based on 2 playoff games. We just got to get home. That's all. I think it's there. They just got to get home. Have to. Steve, we read Anne Frank in high school, and I saw the movie too. Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad story. All right. What else we got here, guys? We've hit the 50. I try to keep this under an hour, but this is a Tuesday show, right? This is a Tuesday show. Let's take a look at a couple of things here. Just a reminder. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry about this. I want to make sure I didn't leave anything on the table. I don't want to leave anything on the table here. Concerns. We've talked about this. We talked about Devontae Adams. Hopefully they won't rule him out at all and use him as a decoy. Rams are 2-0 in playoff games in Seattle. This feels like a playoff game. Rams are 6-3 under McVay in Seattle. Warren McClendon, 438 snaps at right tackle, just 7 pressures. 4 of those came against the 49ers. The first game he started, he's allowed no hits and no sacks. He is, if everything keeps going, he is the Rams starting right tackle next year, and the Rams can use draft capital to fill other needs and hopefully draft another tackle maybe on the 3rd day. Coleman Shelton, I've admitted, very high critic of Coleman Shelton, not because of his football smarts or awareness, just because he just doesn't have the physicalness to do this, that position. He's having his best year of his career. He's playing good football, but this week, another big test. Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, the guy out of Texas that they were trying to convince us was the next Aaron Donald, and Jerron Reed, who didn't play in the first game. He's back. And so that's a big test for not only for Shelton, but Avila and Dotson. You still have DeMarcus Lawrence coming off the edge. That'll be coming off the edge as of right now. It looks like where McClendon protects, and then Nwasa, is it Nwaso? NWSO? I don't know how to pronounce it. That other dude is going to be coming off for Alaric Jackson to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on that Rams offensive line, how good it is. We need to get the push, need to run the ball, especially if it's going to rain. That needs to happen. Also, the Seahawks bookends, Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas, have been excellent this year. Their interior, not so much, but as was reminded to me tonight, is Charles Cross, their starting left tackle, a close to elite left tackle, maybe somewhere in that Alaric Jackson range, not ultimate elite. He has a hamstring issue, and that's going to be serious trouble. We want to see the Rams pound the ball. We did have the discussion brought up about let's limit the Seahawks' big playability because Sam Darnold is not consistent enough to lead the offense without making a big mistake, right? And so also, just don't you find it fascinating, the Colts team without their 2 corners, Charvarius Ward and Sauce Gardner, they didn't allow the Seahawks into the end zone with JSN. They couldn't get into the end zone. How does that happen? So there's some breakdown there. I think the Seahawks running game is competent. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's better than the Lions. So the Rams have opportunity. I think the Rams should win. Mr. Burns says it should be a 40-20 game. I'm thinking 20-17. Division opponent on the road, weather, all those things will play a factor into keeping it close. But I hope I am so wrong, and it's a 4-touchdown win for the Rams, and we put the fear of the Lord into everybody in the NFL, right? There you go. All right. I think we got this all in. Do we have any other things here? Boom, Randy Gray. Excuse about the pass is that they're focused on the run, and then B. Fisk first started the year injured. Oh, okay. He has not had I think he's had a solid year, but he was more impactful last year, right? I think. They've done a great job stopping the run, right? Poona Ford, right? What an upgrade from Bobby Brown. And I was afraid to let Bobby Brown go because I didn't know what they were going to get in return. And he finally started paying some dividends the last year and a half he was with the team. But what an upgrade in Poona Ford. In fact, I spoke to Tim Peterson, who covers the Chargers from Mid-Valley Sports, and he was telling me they were kind of surprised they let Poona Ford walk. But yeah, there you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on. Be sure to check out Kistler Law if you have any issues. Give a look-see there to sports ball games. And, of course, keep the kid employed. Check out my books, 3 football books, Game Day in the Ram Cave, and that is fictional NFC title game between the Rams and Packers. Please sure to check that out. Also, I've written 2 other high school football novels, Tangent Dreams and Temple City Company of the Ages. And you'll also see other books there that I've written, some spec fiction, Sin Virus, think Walking Dead meets Christianity. It's a lot of fun. So thank you for checking us out. Randy, I do appreciate you being with us. Most underrated signing, Poona Ford. Absolutely. But you know, we what was the Rams status? Not status. What's the reputation the Rams have with free agents, right? Allen Robinson and others, Jonah Jackson. It's like the Rams kind of miss on these guys. But what happened, man? Poona Ford, Nate Landman, right? Poona Ford, Nate Landman, boom. The Rams, the pro personnel scouting department, let alone the college scouting department, first-class organization. It is the golden age to be a Ram fan. Okay, guys, I got to let you go. I do appreciate you being here on a Tuesday. I'm asking for a little leeway tomorrow. I'm not sure what time I'm getting on. I got to go take care of my church. God bless. Take care.